Hi there, this is Tammy with Tammy Stamping Therapy. This is video number 2 in my video series regarding making custom boxes. Last week I made this cute little box, and I cannot for the life of me remember what I was putting inside of it, because it's not there now. So that's very interesting, but it was this little square box. The base is made using one piece of cardstock, and it's folded up on all 4 sides, and the lid was made the same way. Today I'm going to show you how to make a box a different way. If your product that you are wanting to make the box for is too tall, then this kind of box doesn't work. You can't wrap the cardstock up and around because you can't get a big enough piece of cardstock. So for this one, I'm going to make a box for this cute little drinking jar that was given to me by my upline at our last team meeting. This little stamp set is the Gang's All Mirror, which is one of the celebration sets that you could get for free from January 3rd to March 31st with a $50 purchase. I think this is adorable, and I needed something for a taller box, so this was perfect. This is a cute little jar that comes with the straws, and you can get these on Amazon. You get a box of 6. I actually bought some. I'm going to use them for something upcoming, probably one of my team meetings or one of my upcoming events. So we're going to make a box that fits this, and I'm starting the same way that I started last week. This will be all Greek to you, but this box, instead of the sides coming up and around, this is going to wrap around this way and then have a bottom and a top on it. So I started by measuring the bottle. The bottle's 2.5 inches square. This sticks out a little farther, but I'm hoping that's not going to matter too much. So I need 4 sides that are each 2.5 inches wide. The bottle's 8.5 inches tall, and then I need 2.5 inches for it to fold under to make the bottom of the box. So it ended up that I need a piece of cardstock just for the box base that's 10.5 by 11. See my little drawing of my bottle? This is where I started. This is the way I always start when I'm making a custom box. First I figure out the size of my item, and then I go from there. This particular box, I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make it. This way, where the base is all one piece, you have to have 12 by 12 cardstock. I don't always have 12 by 12 cardstock in the color that I need. So I'm going to make it first with 12 by 12, and then I'll show you the other way to make it with 8.5 by 11. I started with, this is Old Olive. So I started with Old Olive, and I have scored it on my scoreboard at 2.5 across the bottom, and then 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10, and that's leaving me a 1/2 inch here. The first thing that I always like to do is to cut before I score. So the first thing is I don't need this little triangle, or it's not a triangle, this little rectangle right here. So I'm going to cut it off. And then I'm going to cut it like this. And then I'm going to cut up all of these score lines. I wish we still sold these scissors. I use these for my ribbon scissors, but they're really sharp and they're really nice for cutting things that are longer. Kind of hard to see the score lines if the light isn't just right. And I think when I wrap this around, this is going to be my front, so I'm going to leave this flap perfectly straight, and all the others I'm going to cut in on the sides. This makes it all fold up more nicely. Let's do all 3 of these. So now I have this, and I'm going to burnish on my score lines. This box is so simple. The hardest part is figuring out your dimensions, what size you need it to actually be. This is similar to the way I made my lantern. It's one of the videos in the Christmas collab videos that we did. It was done with 4 panels like this, and then I cut a rectangular hole in each panel. Before I glue this together, I have designer paper, and this is the Tropical Oasis paper. This is one of the patterns in it. It goes really nice with this Old Olive Cardstock. So I'm going to put 1 panel on each of these. This paper is 8 1/4 tall by 2 1/4 wide. Look at the other side of this, palm trees. It's really pretty. I just love all the papers in the mini catalog that started today. This is like one of my favorites that we've had for a long time. I think I say that every year, actually. Every year there's a paper that I'm like, oh, it's my favorite paper I've ever had in the world. And then the next year, oh, there's one I like better. I think it's just a thing of what's in your mind at this point in time. What's in your point of view. There's 9 new papers right now. There's 7 in the mini catalog, and then there's 2 in the Celebration catalog. And you saw, was it last week? I did the calendar with the, what's it called? Is it Warm Honey? Something like that paper, and the honeybees. And then I gave away that calendar. I like colorful things, which purple is my favorite color. I'm sure you can tell by my work surface and everything around me. But I love bright colors, and I'm not usually drawn to like neutral colors. That paper is black and white and gold, which normally is not something that I would have any interest in, but I just thought it was so pretty. So there's the outside of the box. I am going to put tear and tape along this edge. If I can find the end, there it is. And I'm going to put it close to the edge that will be showing instead of the inside edge. And then get my paper piercing tool, and I'm going to lay this down this way, and this should perfectly match here, and it does. So there's that. And now to do the bottom. This is a little tall for the camera, so you can see this is the one that was my front. I do need to trim this a little bit. I cut on the other side of the score line. My hands are a little bit shaky for some reason. Not sure what's up with that today. Okay, so I'm going to put this one down last. So I'm first going to do the sides, and I will put in one side and put some glue on it, and I'm going to do this to make it square. I want it to be square, and I need something long. And then I'm going to put glue on here. It's almost time to get out another glue bottle, but I like to wait until the glue is all of the way gone, so I do a lot of shaking at the end to get all the last little bits of glue out. So there's that part. I'm going to get in here again. This looks way too tall. I don't think it is, because the straw is really tall. So you can see. And then I'm going to stick this in here. And my little meerkats are a little wide, so I'm going to wrap them around. I actually could have made this box like a 3-inch box maybe instead of 2.5, or at least 2 3/4. And that has a belly band on it. My belly band came off. So you can see that this fits in there perfectly. There's no extra space. I probably should have left a little bit of extra space. So I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to make the lid. This lid is 6 9/16 inch square, and when you're doing 16ths, they are the tiny little lines in between the 8ths. So I knew I needed, because the box itself is 2.5, I wanted 1/16 more than my 2.5, and that just gives it the little bit of room that you need for it to sit down nicely onto the box. And on this one, I'm going to cut on all of my tabs. Cut straight on the side that's going to be the outside and cut in on the tabs. Trying not to cut myself. So there's my lid, and I'm going to do my burnish my score lines. And I'm going to put the same designer series paper on here that I have on the box. I could have put a contrasting one, but I like to do the same paper. A little wild with my glue. This piece of paper is 2 5/16, which is one little line past a 1/4 inch by 2 5/16, and then the sides are 2 5/16 by 1 3/4. It's nice this pattern is not at all directional, so it doesn't matter. Don't have to worry too much about when you're cutting it that you're going to cut it correctly. But you see the other side, if I was using it, it is dimensional. I would have to be careful in my cutting. And it scooted a little bit. The nice thing about putting paper down with glue is you do have a little bit of wiggle room. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it wiggles when I don't want it to wiggle. It's funny, as much as I'm a purple person, I think this paper is just beautiful, and I really like this particular print on the green cardstock. That's what we have for our lid. And now I'm going to put the lid together the same way I did the smaller box last week. It goes like this. This in here. And then to do this side, I'm going to put glue on both flaps. I'm just kind of all over the place with this glue bottle though. Very annoying. And then I'll fold the flaps in. Fold that one down. I'll do this one first. And then this one. And I'm lining this edge up with that score line. I need it to be as close to perfect as possible or my lid won't fit right. So there's my lid. Pretty cool, huh? And it's just going to sit right on top of there. It fits perfect. Isn't that fun? Now I'm going to show you, and I'll think about decorating at the end of the second one. Now I'm going to show you how to make the same box, but we're using 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So to do this, I need 3 pieces of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. So I have 3 sides that are each 2.5 wide, and the bottom is 2.5, and these are 8.5 tall. And then I'm going to use a second piece that's 8.5 plus 2.5, and it's only 2.5, so it's going to fill in the back piece. And then the lid is going to be slightly different, I think. I'm not quite sure yet. So for this, you need a piece that is 3.5 by 11, and that's this side, and then 11 by 7.5 is the rest of it. And then the box lid, I actually cut the same size as I did before. Here's my 2 pieces. This is scored 2.5 and 5, and this is scored a 1/2 inch on each side, and then they're both scored 2.5 on the bottom. So again, I'm going to do my cutting. And on this one, I know I want the middle panel, sorry. to be the front. So I'm going to leave the middle panel straight, and I'm going to angle the other panels. This is Real Red Cardstock, and I'm using a different pattern from the same paper pack. I'll show you that in a second. And cut this. So there's that piece. On this one, I'm going to cut off just these little rectangles on each side, and actually I'm going to angle this. So I'm going to cut it like this, and I'm going to cut it at an angle this way, cutting it in farther than I did, like this. So I have these two pieces that are going to make up my box. The first thing I'm going to do is burnish this score line, and I'm going to put tear and tape on this. And then I'm going to line this up. Hold that up out of the way. Line this up on this edge. I want the tops to match. So now you can see I've made, except my thing's on the opposite side, I've made really the same size piece I had before. Only I made this with two 8.5 by 11 sheets instead of one 12 by 12 sheet. Stampin' Up! Does sell 12 by 12 cardstock. They sell it in color families though. You can't buy like a whole package of one color. Which for most people that doesn't matter. For me teaching classes where I need bulk, it does matter actually. Now I'm going to put the paper on here. I'll show you this other paper that I have. This is another pattern in the same paper pack. Isn't that gorgeous? And on the back side of it is a nice green. I'm going to open a new bottle of glue because I'm fighting with that one a little too much. Don't like to fight with my glue bottle on camera. Off camera, that's okay, but on camera, it takes too much time. This again is a non-directional paper, so did not matter how I cut it. And this one, both sides are non-directional, which is nice. And I was able to cut all of this. This paper is 12 by 12, and I was able to cut all the pieces for this, for the sides and for the lid, and I still had paper left over from my one 12 by 12 sheet. So that was nice. I couldn't get two out of it, but I had enough scraps left over I could use them for a card or something. When you buy the 12 by 12 designer paper packs, there's two of each sheet in the pack, which is nice. That's that. I'm going to put on my tear and tape. I don't know if I've banged the camera around, but I sure have moved this purple mat around. It was kind of straight when I started. So I don't know if the camera has moved. If it has, I apologize. My husband made me this camera stand. It's made out of PVC pipe. You can kind of see it right here. Can't see it on the other side. And then there's a piece that comes up and over. It's very nice that he made it for me because he made it all out of one piece of PVC. And it has a little bit of limitations as far as how tall it can go. I can't go any taller. He could though give me a second piece to put in the back and give me some more height. Because when I'm doing bigger projects, I need to go higher, and I can't really go any higher. So there's that. And you can see inside, maybe you can see, I'm not sure. So there's thing there and a thing over there, so this side is my front. So I have a nice smooth corner on each of these. And then I will do the same thing with the tabs that I did on the first one. Put this down. I'm going to make sure it's square so it sticks nicely. And then put glue on here. Stick that down. Put glue on here. Stick this one down. So there's the box. Very pretty also. And I'm going to try something different with the lid. I cut my lid the same way. But I'm going to try something different. So I'm still going to, one side's still going to be the same. This might totally flop, but I showed you how to do the lid that we know works, so the lid on the green box. When I'm doing these videos, I'm not usually making a prototype first, so I never know for sure how it's going to work. And I'm going to cut this the same, I think. But I'm going to try something. So first I'm going to do my score lines. And then I'm going to glue my piece on top because I know that will be the same. It's so funny that I cannot remember what I made. Oh, I remember. The box I made last week was for this. Now I remember. The lemon fluttery cuticle cream. So I'll do that for now. And what I want to do, which is going to be kind of hard to show you because of the height, I think. What I want to do is possibly get rid of these flaps, these two here. And I want to attach this one inside the box. So it's a lid that's attached. So if I lay this down, I want to see if I need to, I'm going to go ahead and cut these off. Oh no, too late now if I change my mind, huh? Cut this one off. And then this will go in here. And I need to trim each of these a tiny bit because it's a little bit wide. And let's see, this is the back. So what I want to do is stick this in here and glue it down. Call me crazy. I've done attached lids, but not exactly like this. So this one is kind of different than anything else I've done for a while. Stick this in here and line it up. Sorry, I know I'm getting off camera. Line it up right there so it's even, where the score line is even. I'm going to lay this down and then do a little bit of burnishing. Make sure that's still lined up right. Okay. So now see my lid's attached. So you could have, if you have big enough paper, or if you're making a smaller box, that you can do this all with one piece. you would have extra on these sides you would cut off. So now I'm going to see how this will work. Okay, so I'm going to do this. Oh, way too much glue. This is the Stampin' Up! Tombow. Well, Stampin' Up! Doesn't manufacture it, but they sell it. It's Tombow multi-mono liquid glue. So this glue, if you put it on something and just let it dry without gluing it to something, it's like a double-sided. It dries tacky, so it's removable. So any of the glue that gets in the air stays that way, and that gets a little frustrating sometimes. So I try not to get too much glue close to the edges of things. Like this. I have not put my designer paper on here yet. I'm going to do that next. So I only need 3. I cut 4 because I was, in case I did the other kind of lid. So put this on here. This on here. And this one on here. So then the way that the lid works is it goes like this. You have a lid that's attached. And it opens and closes like this. So it's all one piece. So, and it still works. I have another bottle here. I'll stick this in here. The bottle fits in much nicer without the belly band on it. So here's my 2 boxes. And then to decorate them, what I thought was, I didn't think too far ahead on the decorating, but I did get out my Meerkat stamp set, and I thought maybe, I think these guys are so cute. So I'm going to use my starburst punch and then my 2-inch circle punch. I need to stamp. Thought I'd do happy birthday to a stand-up friend for the front. So put that on there. But I also might want to put this guy in there. I have a bunch of our blocks, and for some reason this size have all disappeared except for these 2. I had like at least 6 of each, so I don't know where these went. Okay, I'm going to use Whisper White Thick. And for the words, I'm going to use black ink on my finger. I'm going to use the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. So I'll go like this. And I think I'm going to punch this first because I want to see how much space I can leave for that little guy. So if I punch this and put it towards the top, and the little guy, I'm going to I'm going to stamp him with Early Espresso. Sorry, I did bump the camera that time. I am sorry. I need a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to be stamping off. Oh, I should have done this twice. That's okay. So I'm going to just, can you see what I'm doing? So this is a red rubber stamp, and when you're stamping, You want to use firm, even pressure, and don't go like this at all, because when you do that, if you have gotten ink on the edges of your rubber, you get a halo around your image. So I'm going to do this. There, he's just too cute. And I need Real Red. I have Real Red right here. Punch this with the starburst punch. And one fun thing that you can do with the dye-based inks, with the colored inks, I colored that, or I stamped that with early espresso, and you can take Wing Castella, and when you color it, it will sometimes, if you color it soon enough, I'm not thinking I'm colored it soon enough, it will kind of pull the color in from where you stamped. So this did a little bit. I should have colored this a lot sooner. But it did pull some of the color. And different colors work different. But I don't know if you can see. See, it did make it a little colored. And then I will put this on my starburst. On my starburst, I want something bright, sparkly. That's the right color. So I guess for sparkly, all I have is rhinestones, which I could color, but I'm not going to take the time to color. The rhinestones you can color with your Stampin' Blend markers. But I'm going to put this medium size one, put one there, and one there. Just want to add a little color. I'm going to put, this is on my way now. It's funny, when I'm crafting, I cannot have that paper under me at all, unless I need it for stamping off on. Otherwise, in the mat also, everything under me just bugs me. And I have 2 ribbons. Let me see which ribbon I want to use. I have this one and this one. I think I'm going to use the green. So I'm going to take the green far enough around to be able to do something with it. And this is the exact width of my tear and tape. So I'm just going to put one piece of tear and tape on the back, like right here. Hopefully I did that straight. And then I'm going to put this on here, hopefully getting it on there straight. And I really want it to go like this. Okay. I can go this side. What I can't tell is how straight this is compared to the back. So I'm going to put this that on there. That can kind of slide around. And then on this side, I'm I'm going to try to tie a bow. I don't do bows well when they're attached to something, but I'm going to try. My other option would just be a knot. I can tie a bow just fine with a straight piece of ribbon, but when it's attached to something, I'm not as good. There. So there we have this one. And I could do the same thing to the other one. I probably will at some point. Isn't this pretty? You can't see the whole thing, but so this is my second way to make a box. This is a tall, skinny box. A box with a lid, a separate lid, or like this one has a hinged lid. I'm thinking that the next box video I do will be to show you how to make a pizza style box, probably. So it'll be a shorter box, like probably this size, but it'll be all one piece of cardstock instead of two. So there's video number 2 in my custom box series. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you think below. Also, please let me know in the comments below if there's anything else that you would like to see me make, any other style of any kind of a 3D project. I have the natural ability, which I'm very thankful for, that I can look at something and figure out how to make it without having a tutorial necessarily. I can see a picture of something, I can look at a card, and I just figure out in my head how it goes. So if there's anything else you've seen that you would like to know how to make, please let me know. You could give me a link to a picture or a web page or something. I really enjoy doing this. I'm always looking for new 3D items to make because I really love making them. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Have a wonderful day.